Hello, literature lovers. Today I'm going to discuss Praise of Folly by D. Erasmus. Talking about D. Erasmus, he's been the greatest humanist of Northern Renaissance, and although he belonged to very old era, he was a very popular scholar, born in Netherlands, and his father was a Catholic priest, and so although his mother was just kept in the place and he was an illegitimate son, still the whole context is not so controversial. Talking about his monastic orders in 1492, and he obtained as Catholic priest, but he disliked this job and gave himself the freedom to study and write as serving this priesthood. His religious experiences of religious life helped him in understanding later writings, and in fact he studied in Paris University in the 15th century and found of different works of criticism. Quite wide variety of work is there in his, and he really tapped it. He was absorbed in linguistic works also. He polished his Latin and Greek language too, and studied New Testament as part of Bible, and translated it also. That was one of his achievement in that era. Very large variety of works. Not to forget, Praise of Folly was a satire towards his friend Thomas More. So it is really very popular. Another important work is Education of a Christian Prince, that was dedicated to Charles V of Spain. So both of these things should be noted as part of it. Next comes Praise of Folly, and it was written, as we have discussed, about Thomas More. So it is a pun of his name. It is written the Latin title of the book. Talks about it. It's a satire and folly, praise of folly, you can say, praising your mistakes. So it shows how mocking himself occasionally by the name, and critics have noted that the author had difficulty in maintaining consistent voice. So folly praise what author is trying to mock, and other times openly ridiculing it. Talking about the summary, we have talked also how it is addressed to Thomas More. It is dedicated to it, and Man for All Seasons is the translation of getting toward his friend, and there are peculiar qualities related to it, and presented by goddess Folly. So goddess, Folly is being presented as a goddess. These are the qualities, and there are filled with allegories and symbols throughout it. Many special things are being mentioned, and one of them is youth, fountain of youth, that became quite popular at that time. How this thing in Folly and making it the whole story of a woman being portrayed. It is quite similarly made and consisting of the activities related to it. Another very important character about the Cupid, that love god. So it is said that self-love may be considered folly's sister goddess. So if you are loving yourself, that shows your folly. You can see how deep the meaning is, and the storyline really demonstrates that courage and industry are the products of folly. So your mistake is somewhat related to courage, related to it. These are the different aspects how the storyline follows. I hope you can get the whole idea of it. It's quite wide and different shades are there. And happiness, according to folly, are those who living to nature and have little as possible to do with learning. So if you are learning so much, you are not happy. It's a satire showing these things that foolish people are more happy. Great lines throughout the work and are talked about it. Really deep and greater meaning. One of the very famous lines, self love also generates a variety of forms of foolishness. If you're loving yourself so much, you are in fact generating different kind of foolishness. Another sister is the flattery, impressing someone, just greasing your others, by flattering. And this is one kind of the technique of human happiness which is seen. It is also part of folly. That is the reason why it is called sister of folly. Folly, moving to a description of other followers, and there are disciples of folly, and regarding the reading and silly stories, including the human desire for immortality, is also part of it, which is discussed here. And folly is addressing to philosophers and then theologians. All of them are being part of it. Now talking about the religious monks, follies argues with all of them, and the whole debate is there. It's a huge story. The whole debate revolves around it. Now folly is speaking about the kings and the courtiers, and all of them are indebted to her. How it is being explained in clear light, how this thing is happening. Say how folly tend to be rich and powerful, while those who concern themselves with genuine wisdom find themselves mired in poverty. It's a quite clear-cut satire that foolish people are quite rich, and the one who are really thoughtful and brilliant and are not so blessed. In the end, we can say this Christian religion has much in common with the folly and little in common with wisdom. So it's a clear-cut, harsh satire, and the very young and the old and very simple demonstrate the greatest faith and most sincere love for Christ. The life loved by truly pious, which involves contrast, self-denial, the subjection of the body for the good of the soul. The contemplation of things that are unseen is clearly the height of folly. Finally, is not intense love the greatest form of madness, completely sublimating the self in devotion to the ones who is loved. Thanks for being part of it. Thank you.